Shiach is getting ready to come.
And hidden riches of secret places, that thou mayest know that I am the Lord.
Last words, brother.
Shalom, shalom, ma.
All right.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom, Yasharel.
Shabbat shalom, Zion. Shabbat shalom.
All right. It's Shabbat we've been waiting for. We've been talking about this for a good minute now. We're going to be doing the Chronicle of Judges. So this is going to probably be a breakdown series of probably 3 or 4 lessons to see how it goes and everything. And, you know, give you guys some really nice really treat on some things that the Spirit has been working on. So, you know, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to jump right into the lesson. But first, before we go into Judges 14, which Brother Eitan is going to take us there. I want to go to the beginning where our people were told to drive out their enemies. And so we need to set a base to show you all how our people became the way they are, especially in Judges and everything. So that way you can kind of see the result of when you don't obey the Most High, when you're not obedient and you don't obey His word, there are repercussions. All right. And that's something that we've seen time after time throughout the word. Brother Eitan, you got anything for him before we head to Judges chapter 1?
No, brother, just go ahead and go ahead and give us a breakdown of just show us how we first began with all this wickedness, brother. And let's go ahead and knock that out for the people. All right. Shalom. Shalom.
All right, so go ahead and turn. First of all, I want to give all praises and glory, to our Abba, to His Son, Shiach. So go ahead and turn your Bibles to Judges chapter 1. And we're going to start at verse 17, brother, unless you got something that you want to start off at. But
no, brother, that's good. We can start at verse 17. That's fine.
We're going to start at 17. And what we're going to show you is we're going to go all the way down. We're going to skip some verses, but we're going to go down and show you how the Most High told these boys to drive these folks out, but they didn't drive them out. You see what I'm saying? They were supposed to drive all of these people out like the Most High told them to do. But what did we do? Like we always do. Oh, we love these heathens. We want to keep the good ones, and they're not harmful. They good people. Good people. They've been helping us. Y'all don't understand how serious this thing is. Most High says do something. I mean, He means that. So, just going to give you an idea. We're going to start off at 17, and I want to read slow. Like I said, we're going to break this down and read a 4 series. So let's look at 17. It says, and Judah went with Simeon, his brother, and they slew the Canaanites that inhabited Zephath and utterly destroyed it. And the name of the city was called Hom. All right. And we're going to go down. And if you notice, Judah was like the only tribe that really did what the Most High said. They destroyed all of them. But when we go down, and y'all can read the whole chapter, when you get a chance. Let's go down to verse 21. All right. Let me load that up. Can you see that okay on your end, brother?
Con. I can see it perfectly, brother.
All right. Have we get a sound check yet? Hey, this just for edification. Let's make sure that you all can hear us. So if you can hear us, everything is clear. Go ahead and put a 1 in the chat box. Go ahead and put a 1. We'll wait for a minute because we want to make sure everybody can hear us. All right. And we got about 20 brews on. So okay, good. All right. Good deal. So we'll continue. All right, verse 21. It says, and the children of Benjamin did not drive out the Jebusites that inhabited Jerusalem, but the Jebusites dwell with the children of Benjamin in Jerusalem unto this day. So in other words, back then when this was going on, what happened? They didn't drive all of them out like the Most High told them to. And ended up being a thorn in their side. Now let's go down to verse 29. It says, neither did Ephraim drive out the Canaanites that dwelt in Gezer, but the Canaanites dwelt in Gezer among them. You see how this is becoming a problem, y'all? It says, neither did Zebulun drive out the inhabitants of Kitron, nor the inhabitants of the hollow, but the Canaanites dwelt among them and became tributaries. I mean, our people, man. Verse
Yeah,
30.
right.
Yep.
Tributaries, right? What that means is, let's say, for example, you had taken over another nation, they would bring you tribute, which would be money, goods, crops, whatever it may be. But it was just the price of them letting you live. All right, you would pay those. We would be paying tribute. I mean, those heathens were paying tribute to us because we let them live in the land and drive them out as the Most High had commanded.
Yep. I mean, it's crazy, y'all. Look at verse 31. Neither did Asher drive out the inhabitants of Akko, nor the inhabitants of Zidon, nor Alab, nor Akzib, nor Helba, nor Apik, nor Rehob. And that's crazy, y'all. Verse 32. But the Asherites dwelt among the Canaanites that inhabited the land, for they did not drive them out. All right, verse 33. Neither did Naphtali drive out the inhabitants of Beth Shemesh, nor the inhabitants of Bethany, but he dwelt among the Canaanites, the inhabitants of the land, nevertheless the inhabitants of Beth Shemesh and of the Bethany became tributaries unto them. Same thing we read earlier, and the Amorites forced the children of Dan into the mountains, for they would not suffer them to come down to the valley. And y'all see how this is going. Y'all see why our people kept going into captivity, because they just had a bad habit of not doing what the Most High told them to do. Because had they driven them all out, then we wouldn't have to worry about sharing our kingdom with them. And it's crazy. I mean, this is the stuff that I'm talking about. So when you see this, when Brother Eitan take us to Judges 14, you'll know why the whole base is set up. The foundation to why Israel was so wicked.
Now, and also, right, Israel, you got to remember, right? When you don't do what the Most High tells you to do, right, and He has a reason for killing those folks.
Exactly.
The Most High don't give a damn if you feel sorry for them or not. That has absolutely nothing to do with it. The Most High said, kill them folks. Most likely, well, everyone has a cup, right? And we know that the wrath of God has His cup. And once the cup overfills, it's time for you to get destroyed. So more than likely, those folks' time had come for them to get destroyed, and the Most High had ordained it. But because they did not follow the orders of the Most High, you'll see how later on Most High, when we skip to Judges 14, right, it will start with the story of Samson, how he, how the Most High moves, and the Most High will have His way.
That's right. And that's like today. That's like our people saying, okay, you have some good white people out there. How come we can't accept them? How come we can't bring them into our midst and everything? They got some good spirits. I hear our people say that time after time, but they don't realize the Most High said that they are unclean. And if the Most High says that they're unclean, they're unclean. I don't care how much gifts they're giving you. I don't care. Our people are so gullible. Well, they're keeping the commandments, and no, the commandments were not given to them. So who gave them the authority to keep the commandments?
God, that's right.
Brothers and sisters, we got to be realistic with this thing. And the Most High means what He says.
God.
And so, because of the results of that, our people are constantly in anguish, and that's why we continue to keep going into captivity over and over and over.
That's just man, it's a saying that you can see how today how our people are, that we definitely the same folks from the scriptures. Our head is harder than 10 rocks combined together. It's just ridiculous.
Crazy. All right, brother.
Right. How you out there, right there? You wanted to reinforce anything else? Before
I'm good. We can carry on.
Okay, right. All right, so we're gonna pretty much we're gonna be going over this. We're just gonna be going over the story of Samson. Pretty much. I know some of you guys, they might be familiar with it, but not really familiar with it if you've been in the truth, right? If you're in the truth, you haven't read this this account, right? This history of account from back in the day, you will see a different side to it as we bring it out today, right? And just how strong and just how the Most High was and how he was uncompromising. It doesn't really matter, right? So let me see here, right? Let me bring it. All right, and it reads, and we got here, and we got Judges 14, right? And it reads, so you guys can see, it says, and Samson went down to Timnath and saw a woman in Timnath of the daughters of the Philistines, right? And he came up and told his father and his mother and said, I have seen a woman in Timnath of the daughter of the Philistines. Now, therefore, get her for me to wife, right? So what's wrong with this? What's wrong with this situation already, right? The daughter of the Philistines, she was of the what people that Brother Daniel read in the very first chapter, right? She was, the Philistines is Canaanite people, right? These are the folks that the Most High, he wasn't, he wasn't too happy about them. But also, right, what was going on during this time of Israel, right? During the Judges 14, we know that what the Philistines had Israel under captivity, right? So let's continue to read.
And just before you go on, brother. So remember when you're talking about them not driving out all the children, all the Canaanites. This is the result. So this is why, and it's like we don't know how many years this passed between them. Supposed to be running them out, but just they had babies, and guess what? Their children. So they multiplied, and they became a thorn in our people's side.
Well, all right, so we got verse 3. It says, then his father and his mother said unto him, is there never a woman among the daughters of thy brethren, or among all my people, that thou goest to take for a wife of the uncircumcised Philistines? And Samson said unto his father, get her for me, for she hath pleaseth me well. All right, so let's go to Tobit 14 real quick, right? All right, hold up. Sorry about that. Hey, October 4. I'm sorry. I was lucky, Israel. All right, here we go.
Right. October 4/12.
Yeah, man, my mind's all over the place. All right. So, right, I want you guys to peep this right here, right? So the reason why his family and his mother and father is telling him that, because we already know that within the law it says what? Beware of all whoredom, my son, and chiefly take a wife of the seed of thy fathers, and take not a strange wife to, right? Take not a strange woman to wife, which is not of thy father's tribe, for we are of the children of the prophets, Noah, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Remember, my son, that our fathers from the beginning, even that they all married wives of their own kindred, and were blessed in their children, and their seed shall inherit the land. All right. So let's go back to Judges. All right, Judges 14, and let's continue. Right. So these are the reasons why his family is telling him, hey man, we don't want you to go off and get with these strange women, right? So let's read 4. It says, but his father and his mother knew not that it was of the Lord. You see that, y'all? It says, but his father and his mother knew not that it was of the Lord, that he had sought an occasion against the Philistines, for at that time the Philistines had dominion over Israel, right? And we know that what, right? The Lord is a man of war, right? The Lord is a man of war. Hey, you wanted to say anything?
No, yeah, just commenting on Tobit 4:12, and really, you don't have to go back there though, but just bringing that out. And when he said, "This woman pleaseth me," why would he be? First of all, why would he be lusting after a heathen when he had plenty of women of his own kindred? And you see the madness behind this thing. And when you look at our people today, what is it about these other nations that when we have, like for example, the daughters of Zion, we have all these beautiful daughters of Zion, and why will our people want to go outside of that? It's always been something with our people on strange flesh. It's just time after time. It's not like it was just one occasion. this has been several occasions, and I could show you countless of scriptures, but I don't want to get off the point about mixing. But you've seen that, you saw the scriptures that we provided on mixing. The Most High is totally against it. But in this case, it's like the Most High knew what was going to happen, so he's going to use this situation to his advantage, and you'll see how that works out as Brother Aton goes further into the lesson.
Right. So we see right here where it says Exodus 15:3, which says the Lord is a man of war. The Lord is his name, right? So that means that our God, he's a man of war, right? You know what I'm saying? He's gonna get it in. And if you're doing stuff you ain't supposed to against his people, man, you're gonna get smited, right? You're gonna get smoked. All right. So it says, so we're gonna read right here. It says, but his father's mother knew not that it was of the Lord, that he sought an occasion against the Philistines. For at that time the Philistines had dominion over Israel. What does that mean? What does that mean right there? That means that the Lord had beef. The Lord had beef with the Philistines, because they had our people in captivity.
Yep.
Right. So when this thing had happened, the Lord had put the spirit on Adam. The Lord had put the spirit on Samson to do what? To fall for a Philistine. Why would he fall for the Philistines? Is because the exact same thing that happened in the beginning chapters of Judges. They were ordered to rule them out. They were ordered to root them out of the land. But because they did not root them out of the land, look what happened. They turned tail on us, right? We come under captivity by the Philistines. Yep. This is absolutely ridiculous.
And it's interesting, because when you don't obey the Most High, he will use the same enemies that you were supposed to destroy, and he will use them to destroy you. Just like, for another example, Saul, when he was told by Samuel, look, he says, kill your enemies, do not slay. He says, do not spare. And young or old. But what did Saul do? And this kind of falls in the exact same line of what's going on here in Judges. He wanted to save the good ones. Maybe Saul thought that some of those people were good people. Our people just, I don't know, they feel like they always try to be the good Samaritan. When the Most High tells you to do something, he tells you to kill, you gotta kill.
Mm-hmm.
Stop trying to be some good Samaritan, because you think you can save somebody. Especially not trying to save something that's unclean.
Which can never be clean.
What's wrong with our people?
All right, but his father's right. So we know that right? The Most High had beef against the Philistines, right? Because they had our people in captivity. Then went Samson down and his father and his mother to Timnath, and came to the vineyards of Timnath. And behold, a young lion roared against him, and the spirit of the Lord came mightily upon him. Right? What does that mean right here? Right? The spirit of the Lord. This is holy energy. Right? The energy. This is holy energy that came upon him. Right? The holy power. Right? The Holy Spirit of the Lord came mightily upon him, and he rent him as he would have rent a kid. And he had nothing in his hand, but he told his father nor his mother what he had done. And he went down and talked with the woman, and she pleased Samson well, right? And after that time, he returned to take her, and he turned aside to see the carcass of the lion, and behold, there was a swarm of bees and honey in the carcass of the lion, right? And he took thereof of the hands, and went on eating, and came to his father and mother, and he gave them, and they did eat. But he did not tell them that he had taken the honey out of the carcass of the lion. And why was this? Why did he not say that? Right? Because this is a breaking of his oath, right? You know what I'm saying? This was a breaking of the Nazirite oath at the time, right? So Samson is young, because he's not supposed to be doing what? Touching anything dead.
That's right.
God, right? You know what I'm saying? Brother Daniel, I guess when I get down a couple of further verses, man, do you mind taking over for me?
Absolutely.
God, all praises, right? And it says, so his father went down into the woman, and Samson made there a feast, for use the young men do, right? And it came to pass, when they saw him, that they brought 30 companions to be with him. And Samson said unto him, I will now put forth a riddle unto you. If ye can certainly declare it to me within the 7 days of the feast, and find it out, then I will give you 30 sheets and 30 change of garments. But if ye cannot declare it me, Then shall ye give me 30 sheets and 30 change of garments. And they said unto him, Put forth thy riddle, that we may hear it. And he said unto them, Out of the eater come forth meat, and out of the strong come forth sweetness. And they could not in 3 days expound the riddle. And it came to pass on the 7th day that they said unto Samson's wife, right? The reason why he said that he was his wife, because what? Samson had went into her, right? It says that, it's lucky. Let me go right here. All right. King of the Vine, behold, learn one right. Talk with the plays when the time returned. Yes, okay, Khan. Right, and this is the time when he's coming down, and okay, so his father went down unto the woman, and Samson made feast, and and this is the time where he's going down, and so he ended up making him a wife of the same, the same Philistine woman that the Lord was, well, we know that you're not supposed to do, right? But it was the Lord's occasion, so he allowed this to happen, right? It says, and it came to pass on the 7th day that they said unto Samson's wife, Entice thy husband, that he may declare unto us the riddle, lest we burn thee and thy father's house with fire. Have ye called us to take that we have? Is it not so? Right? And Samson's wife went before him and said, Thou dost but hate me, and lovest not, and lovest me not. Thou hast put forth a riddle unto the children of my people, and hast not told me. And he said unto her, Behold, I have not told it my father nor my mother, and I shall tell it thee. Right? And hey Ak, you want to go ahead? Hey, you have anything you want to say?
No. Let's continue. I'll start with what you about 16?
Yeah, Khan was 16.
Okay, so I'll start off that, and just feel free to interject. So we're reading like this. We're reading like this, Zion, because we want y'all to see the whole storyline, and we're gonna explain as we go along. So just bear with us, okay? Verse 16. And Samson's wife wept before him, and said, Thou dost but hate me. Now, see, this is you see how she's playing him, right? Read that.
Hey, hold on for 1 second, Rock. Right? You know what I'm saying? Because before we go on, right? Notice that she is doing what right here, right? Because she is harassing him, right? She's harassing him, right? Hey, making up all kinds of things, trying to make him feel guilty for not telling her the situation, right? I'm telling her what he had came to, what he had came to today. But this is also in the scriptures, right? The scriptures warn men about telling their woman about too much, about too many things, right? So let's get it in Micah chapter 5, right? What does it say, right? Micah chapter 5 and 5. What is it? Micah chapter 7. Slakia Israel. 7 and 5. That's what it is. Okay, it says, Trust ye not in a friend, put not ye confidence in a guide. Keep the doors of thy mouth from her that lieth in thy bosom.
Why is that important, y'all? Go back right quick.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And the reason why I need to know this is so important, because for one thing, men, we are mental. The way the Most High made us, and you got to understand the woman coming from the man. So the woman is more on the emotional side. And when you start telling a woman stuff like that, especially your spouse, emotions get involved and things like that. So there is an order. So we shouldn't be going against the grain like that with the Most High. When it says, "Trust ye not in a friend, but put ye not confidence in a guide. Keep the doors of thy mouth from her that lieth in thy bosom." That's pretty much talking about your wife. Your spouse. So you have to be very, very careful about that.
Like, man, you hear these crows about, you're supposed to be sharing everything with your spouse, and that's not true, right?
Yeah, no.
That's not true. That's not in the scriptures. It's that's why that you're supposed to be love the brotherhood. Okay, you go to your brothers and you ask them for wise advice. You don't go to your woman.
Exactly, because back in the day, y'all, and this is something that I know some of y'all probably not going to want to hear, but when it came to the order of the man and the woman being a possession, and that's not a bad thing. That just means that the woman was created for the man, and the woman back then knew their places. They wasn't trying to bug. They wasn't trying to go against their man. But then here's this woman trying to go against his wife's her husband Samson. and she's trying to play him by trying to make him feel guilty. It was we were left off at 16. I was going to read that again.
Uh,
All right. So it says, and Samson's wife wept before him, and said, "Thou dost but hate me." Now, why would she say that? You know how sometimes women like to play the victim like that, okay? Especially if they want something, they're trying to get something that they want. And
that's
then
right.
love is me. And then first of all, because her brothers or her people threatened her as well too, to burn her family with fire.
Right. And you know already that you know what I'm saying, he burning in hot lust, and she putting the guilt trip on him.
Yep.
She putting the guilt trip on him, she crying, she doing everything she can. Go ahead.
Let me finish reading. It says, "Thou hast put forth a riddle unto the children of my people, and hast not told it me. And he said unto her, Behold, I have not told it my father nor my mother." So Samson is like, I ain't even told my father or mother. So why in the world would I have to tell you? And then, and shall I tell it thee? Verse 17. And she wept before him 7 days.
Hey, read that one more time.
And she wept before him 7 days.
How many days?
7.
Hey, that's a whole week, right? That's a whole week. I mean, like Samson. I mean, that's Samson had the patience of a saint. I say, to take your wife crying 7 days, man,
Mm-hmm.
right?
And she wept before him 7 days while their feast lasted. And it came to pass on the 7th day that he told her, because she lay sore upon him. Y'all know what that means, because she was just bugging him, like literally just nagging him.
That's right.
So
So you brothers out there that want these damn heathen women, right? So you want to, lay up with Becky and these heathen women. Hey, man, you know what I'm saying? They got they got stories in the scriptures about, laying up with heathen women and how they are, right? You don't want to deal with it. You don't want to deal with it, right? Because they're going to have you they're going to have you in hot water before you know it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have you up, Crab Creek without a paddle, right? Go ahead, Op.
So he just gave in. He's like, you know what? Goodness, I can just see him. Goodness, woman, he told us it's because she lay sore upon him, and she told the riddle to the children of her people. Verse 18. And the men of the city said unto him on the 7th day before the sun went down, What is sweeter than honey, and what is stronger than a lion? And he said unto them, If you had not plowed with my heifer, ye had not found out my riddle. Explain that, brother.
Okay, now that's
Let's keep it real.
Hey, now he says, now plow. Now what does plow mean, right? You know what I'm saying? Now when you plow something, you working the heifer, right? You know what I'm saying? And he's essentially calling this heathen woman a heifer. He said, like, if you ain't worked my heifer so much, right? If you ain't talked to her and all of that, you have not found out my riddle, right? If them boys ain't never, harassed and bugged, and just went after, his woman, and notice he called her a heifer, because at this point he's kind of mad that she didn't give up the secret, right? Because he done told her, dumbass, he got to pay the same thing that, it says, but if ye cannot declare it me, then ye shall give me 30 sheets and 30 change of garments. So now, because of her big ass, now because of her big mouth, he has to come, and because of this heathen's big mouth, he has to come and pay for it. You know what I'm saying? He has to, pay for it, because she can't keep her mouth shut. Like I said, don't go to pay to get them heathens, because guess what? You know what I'm saying? This goes to show Israel what? That Becky will always do what? They'll be for their people first. They ain't gonna be for you. You in these interracial relationships or whatever it may be, these women are going to side with their people first. You best believe that. There's a war break out right now against Israelites and the albino heathen. And if you with one, I guarantee you she's gonna choose her side.
That's right.
She's gonna be an insurgent. Right? Go ahead, Up.
Yep. Verse 18 says, And the men of the city said unto him on the 7th day before the sun went down, What is sweeter than honey, and what is stronger than a lion? And he said unto them, If ye had not plowed with my heifer, ye had not found out my riddle. We already explained that, verse 19. And can you scroll it up just a little bit, brother?
Oh yeah, no, yeah, that's as far as it'll go. Okay, I'll
Oh,
read
is
the
that okay?
yeah,
Okay.
con. Yes, I'll
Verse
read the
19,
last
it
little
says,
part.
and the spirit of the Lord came upon him, and he went down to Ashkelon and slew 30 men of them and took their and took their spoil. Well, Samson was no joke, y'all. And took their spoil and gave change of garments unto them, which expounded the riddle. And his anger was kindled, and he went up to his father's house.
Right. So what does that mean, right? You know what I'm saying? Before I read the last scripture, which is really you know, right? What does this mean? It says, and the spirit of the Lord came upon him, and he went down in Ashkelon and slew 30 men. Right. So the 30 garments that he owed, right? The spirit of the Lord came upon him. He went down and he slew 30 heathen. Right. Took the you know what I'm saying, took the garments from those heathen and their spoil, and he went and paid his debt off. Right. And then he was so mad, you know what I'm saying? He was so mad at his wife for running her mouth. You know what I'm saying, at his heathen. This is why, you know, them heathens will always choose their own people. Do not marry them. Don't mix the marriage with them clowns. I'm telling you, right?
And see,
So,
this is the perfect example of what not to do. All right. I mean, the story of Judges is just it's phenomenal, and I like reading it over and over because it just reminds us what not to do. And there's a scripture in I'm trying to think what I think it's in Corinth. I think it's either in Corinthians or Colossians, but it talks about that all these things were written for samples. You know what I'm saying?
con.
Yeah, they were all written for in samples, so for our learning. So in other words, everything that we read in Torah is to teach us a lesson, whether it be good or bad. So a lot of good things happen along with the bad. My granddaddy's always tell me you got to take the crookeds with the straights, because our people always being so wicked and everything, and a lot of this stuff was recorded in the scriptures through the prophets.
All right, get them pork bellies at your house now. We ain't mess with them unclean foods, right? Let me see, and then, right, just to make matters worse. Now remember, Samson was taken by this woman, right? But, right, and it was, you all, even though something is put in front of your face, right? If you choose wickedness, the Most High will most definitely make you pay for it, right? Because things do not go undone. Now, I want you to understand that the Most High, He's the one that started this whole thing because he had an issue against the Philistines, right? So when he had this issue against the Philistines here, right, he decided to make Samson, go hard, right? Because he made him fall in love with the Philistine woman. Now, nothing gets a man more angry, right, and out of control than dealing with their woman, right? Because women just has a way just to make you act outside of character sometimes, right? So and this is what was going on here, right? So we see in the very last verse, let's see what they did, what those heathens did with Samson's wife, right? After he paid the riddle, right? He gave them 30 garments and everything like that. It says, oh, hold on. It says, but Samson's wife was given to his companions.
Hey, brother, no, can you blow it up? Is there where you can blow it up?
Oh yeah, slock it. Yeah, slock it. All right, is that good? Can you see it, brother?
Yeah.
All right,
as well too.
It says, but Samson's wife was given to his companion, whom he had used as his friend. You see that? Right? Samson's wife was given to his companion, who he had used as his friend. So his fake homeboy, right? Because if you really look at it, man, this is a coon spirit that Samson had on the low, because he's not even loving his people, right? He's loving the people of the other nations, right? He got a homeboy of the people from the other nations, right? His friend. Now his friend ain't really his friend, right? Because what does it say about, what does it say in the scriptures, right? It says about thine enemy. Come on, hey, I guess since I got that, let's look that up real quick, Con. You know what I mean? Because it says that his friend rose up in his place. Oh, sorry, it's locked in.
I'll tell you exactly where to go. It's in Ecclesiasticus. Give me a second.
Right, I'll find it real quick.
There's a
Good
couple
thing
of
about what happened. What was I doing?
Go to Ecclesiasticus chapter 12.
I got it right.
Yep.
So,
Chapter 12,
right.
verse 10.
Good thing about this technology. As soon as I have a key word or phrase in my head, it'll pop right up. Okay, here it is, right? All right, it says never, right? Never trust thine enemy. Right? And what are those people? The Philistines is his enemy. The Philistines is the same people that have Salakia, our people in captivity. So why is he dealing with this stuff? That's a coon spirit. The Most High don't deal with coon spirits, right? Never trust thine enemy, for like his iron rusted, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and be aware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as thou hast wiped a looking glass. You know how it's foggy at first, and all of a sudden you wipe it, and it's like, what the, you know what I'm saying? Don't look like it is. And thou shalt know that his rust hath not been altogether wiped away. Set him not by thee, lest when he have overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Neither sit him at thy right hand, lest he seek and take thy seat, and thou at the last remember thy words and be pricked therewith. Right.
See, the biggest problem with a lot of our people, because we feel like our enemies are showing us grace and niceness and kindness and all that kind of stuff, and we feel like, oh, that's a way to put your guards down and trust your enemies. But I'm gonna tell you something: there's nothing worse than putting your guards down to your enemies. And you look out throughout history, that has never worked for our people. Even amongst the other nations, it's never worked. You know what the Roman Empire would do to their enemies? They would give them gifts and they would sign treaties with them and then turn around and stab them right in the back.
God. Right. Now you got to see this, right? It says, but Samson's wife was given to his companion, which is his friend, whom he had used as his friend. And this was another Philistine, someone of another nation, which did what? He crouched by, waited, and next thing you know, he got his wife because he wished he was Samson. Right? So this is why you can't trust these heathen. You cannot trust your enemies, right? So let's go to chapter 15 and continue on with this story, right? And it says, but it came to pass within a while after, in the time of wheat harvest, that Samson visited his wife with a kid. And he said, now remember, at this time, Samson did not know yet that his wife was given to someone else. Samson visited his wife with a kid, and he said, I will go in to my wife into the chamber. But her father would not suffer him to go in. And her father said, I barely thought that thou hadst utterly hated her. That's a lie. Therefore I gave her to thy companion, and is not her younger sister fairer than she? Take her, I pray thee. You hear that? So this man finally getting pissed off, you know what I'm saying, getting pissed off at his wife for running his mouth and causing him to pay up 30 garments, right? So he finally comes back to see his old lady, and the father then gave her away. The father then gave her away to his homeboy, to his supposed homeboy. Now, I mean, like, come on now. We all know what kind of dirtbag homeboy is going to take the man old lady. Come on, man. Really? You know, he was never his friend in the first place. He was his enemy. And Samson said concerning them, now I shall be more blameless than the Philistines, though I do them a displeasure. And Samson went and caught 300 foxes. I mean, what? Man, this dude was a beast. This dude caught 300 foxes. I mean, how fast? I mean, this man.
And you gotta understand, like, I used to, we used to go hunting and stuff. I don't know if you ever hunt for foxes, but them things are hard to catch.
God, right? He like an Emmitt Smith. He's better than Emmitt Smith. Any running back that you've ever seen on TV, man, Samson got better moves than all of them put together, right? He's over there catching 300 foxes and took firebrands and turned the tail and put a firebrand in the midst between the tails, right? Right. So he done tied up the tail of all of these foxes. I mean, imagine them trying to jump around, biting them, trying to do all this other stuff. Samson was just that strong that all of that was not phasing him at all, right? And put a firebrand in the midst between the two tails. And when he had set the brands on fire, he let them go into the standing of the corn of the Philistines, and burned up both the shocks and the standing corn with the vineyards and the olives. Then the Philistines said, what hast thou done this? And they answered, Samson, the son-in-law of the Timnite, because he had taken his wife and given her to his companion. And the Philistines came up and burnt her and her father with fire. You see that? Why? You know what I'm saying? Why did that happen? It don't matter what nation it is. They're not down with, giving, giving away, giving away, other people's wives to other folks, right? Man, they got mad at that because that called Samson and went down there and he burnt. Now, he burnt up the crops. Now, remember now, we were still under captivity, right? The children of Israel are a mighty people, right? Under captivity, Samson was allowed to run down there, tie up some foxes, and burn up all the corn, right? So it says, and Samson said unto them, though ye have done this, yet will I be avenged of you, and after that I will cease. Right? So they killed his wife and they burnt up the father, right? Now, look at all this stuff that's happening to Samson. Why? Is because number one, he took a woman that he wasn't supposed to. And number two, the Most High caused it all. Why? Because the Most High had issue with the Philistines ruling over us. He wasn't cool with that. You know what I'm saying? The Lord was not cool with that at all. Right. So the Lord's like, well, we're gonna do what we can to get these clowns up out of here. Right. So it says, and he smote them hip and thigh with a great slaughter, and he went down and dwelt in the top of rock of Edom. Right, Etam, right, not Edom, but Etam, right, Edom, right. Then the Philistines went up and pitched in Judah, right. Yeah, what they doing there? Pitching in Judah. That's our land, right. And spread themselves in Lehi. And the men of Judah said, why are ye come up against us? And they answered, to bind Samson are we come up, to do him as he done to us. And the men of Judah said, why are ye come up against us? And they answered, to bind Samson we are come up, to do to him as he hath done to us. Then 3,000 men of Judah went up to the top of the rock of Edom and said to Samson, knowest thou not that the Philistines are rulers over us? Right. So this right here is confirmation that we are being ruled over by the Philistines, other than what the Lord has said earlier in 14, right? In verse 3. What is this that thou hast done to us? And he said unto them, as they did unto me, so I have done unto them. Now, this is one of those original coon spirits that Samson has. Now, he's not gonna let nobody get over on him. He ain't gonna let you use him. He's not gonna let you abuse him. If he dealing with them heathens, because make no mistake, he does know that he is the top notch of the earth, right? He is, and definitely an Israelite, all right? Not only a regular Israelite, but an Israelite that's taking a Levitical, that's taking the tribe of, that's taking the Nazarite vow. Okay. Ak, you got anything?
No, man. Good.
Okay, con. All right. It says, and he said unto them, we have come down to bind thee, that we may deliver thee into the hands of the Philistines. All right. Now, we got coonery going all around Israel. So Israel decides that they're going to get their brother, right? Instead of fighting up for their brother, they're going to get him, right? They say, we're going to get my brother, and then we're going to put him, right? Using him, and then we're going to save ourselves by giving our brothers to the heathen, right? And they said unto him, we are come down to bind thee, that we may deliver into the hands of Philistines. And Samson said unto them, swear unto me that ye will not fall upon me yourselves. So Samson's like, look, all right, that's cool. I'll let you bind me up or whatever, but just swear to me that y'all ain't gonna kill me, right? Just y'all don't kill me. Y'all just go ahead and do what y'all got to do, but y'all boys don't kill me, right? And then they spake unto him, saying, no, we will bind thee fast and deliver thee into their hands, but surely we will not kill thee. And they bound him with 2 new cords and brought him up from the rock. And when he came up into Lehi, the Philistines shouted against him. And guess what? And the Spirit of the Lord came mightily upon him, and the cords that were upon his arms became as flax that was burnt with fire. All right. So you ever seen any kind of rope with strands that are burnt with fire so brittle it's easily breaking apart? And his bands loosed from his hands. And he found a new jawbone of an ass, and he put forth his hand and took it. Now, right, a new jawbone. Remember now, he's not supposed to be touching anything of the dead. But in this case, man, the Lord's spirit just can't. This is how bad that the Lord is wanting to kill these heathen, right? And he found a new jawbone of an ass and put forth his hand and took it and slew 1,000 men therewith. I mean, that's a mighty man.
Now they gotta understand. Now I want y'all to picture that, because you think of, fast forward today, you think of any man on this planet that has ever like killed 1,000 men with with the jawbone of an ass. Now, jawbone of an ass, you got to understand. I mean, that's a pretty big jaw. But to slay 1,000 men with that, like I'm just trying to just give y'all a vivid picture of what that looked like. If you were to draw a cartoon character or whatever, if they were like to make a movie, like literally, you know how they make the Avengers and stuff like that, these comic series. But what if they were to put something like this in a movie, actually showing Samson like this destroying 1,000 men? He would literally look like a superhero.
Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? That's what we need, man. We really need some good Israelite artists to draw this stuff, because this is where they get all those anime ideas and Dragon Ball Z and all this other stuff from. They get it from our holy book, because we're the originator of this doggone stuff. All right. Let's see. It said, and he found a new jawbone of an ass and put forth his hand and took it and slew 1,000 men therewith. All right. So this is in one sitting, one battle. Samson is going in. Imagine 1,000, dusty Hamite Philistines trying to jump on him, and he just laying their ass out, killing them. And Samson said, with the jawbone of an ass, heaps upon heaps, with the jaw of an ass have I slain 1,000 men. Right? And it came to pass that when he had made an end of speaking, that he cast away the jawbone out of his hand and called that place Ramath-Lehi. Right? And he was so athirst and called upon the Lord and said, thou hast given this great deliverance into thy hand of thy servant, and now shall I die of thirst and fall into the hand of the uncircumcised. Right? But God clave an hollow place that was in the jaw, and there came water thereout. And when he had drunk, his spirit came again. Right? Now, this is very important right here. His spirit came again. What does that mean? His energy came again. Just like I always say before, right? This is the energy that the Most High had given. You know what I'm saying? That the Most High gives you, right? And you can get a Holy Spirit, which means the Most High Himself can put an energy so powerful in you that you can do things of extraordinary ability, right? But this is just a regular where it says that His Spirit came again and He revived. Wherefore he called the name thereof Anakakor, which is in Lehi unto this day, right? And he judged Israel in the days of the Philistines 20 years. Right? So we're not one thing. I got that thing. Yeah, come on. All right. So let me go to Ecclesiastes real quick, all right? Because I want to show you guys one scripture. Ecclesiastes 12, I believe. Ecclesiastes. All right. Oh, Colossiakia, Ecclesiastes, not Ecclesiasticus. Also known as the Book of Sirach. All right, come on. All right, Con, right? So like a lot of the campers, they'll read this, they'll be like, then shall the dust return to the earth as it was, and the spirit shall return unto God who gave it. All right. What is the spirit? God gave you the spirit, which is energy. This is the life force that He gives you to live. Right. And when you die, when you return to dust, the Lord is going to keep that. You're gonna that life force that the Lord is giving you to live, that's going to return to the Lord, because where else is it going to go? You're not living anymore because He snatched it from you, and that's why you've died. What remains of you will be your soul, right? So let's go back to Judges. I think we're going to let's go to 16. I believe this is the last chapter here, right? Yeah, okay. This is the last chapter right here we're going to go over, right? And this is going to be the conclusion of part 1, right? Brother Daniel, you got anything you want to say before we hit this last chapter?
Nope. And I'll start off reading here. And
Con.
so that's 16 and verse 1. Then went Samson to Gaza, and saw there a harlot, and went unto her. Now, verse 2. And it was told the Gazites, saying, Samson is come hither. And they compassed him in and laid wait for him all night. So now they was waiting for him in the gate of the city, and were quiet all the night, saying, in the morning, when he is day, we shall kill him. Verse 3. And Samson lay till midnight, and arose at midnight, and took the doors of the gates of the city and the 2 posts, and went away with them, bar and all, and put them upon his shoulders, and carried them up. Oh, something happened.
Sorry, Slakia.
What do we live off at? All right, bar and all, and put them upon his shoulders, and carried them up to the top of the hill and before his Hebron. Verse 4. And it came to pass afterward that he loved a woman in the valley of Sorek, whose name was Delilah. Right. Samson is just going crazy. And the lords of the Philistines came up unto her, and said unto her, entice him, and see wherein his great strength lieth. Because he's doing all these superhero stuff and everything. He's just slaying it, like crazy. And it says, and by what means he may prevail against him, or we may prevail against him, that we may bind him to afflict him, and we will give thee every one of us 1,100 pieces of silver. See, this is how the enemy does. The enemy is always trying to use, people against us to try to entice us. So, just like today, how the enemy uses their white women to entice our brothers. You see all these basketball players and these NBA and all the NFL sports and stuff like professional sports. You see how these brothers always, for some reason, they get enticed by these heathens. And they give their honor and strength to these heathens. Not all of them, but a lot of them do. It's crazy. This is like just the same thing.
Also, right? What does it also say? It says the root of money. The root of money. Money is the root of all evil.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on? Say what started this woman at first, right? It says, and it came to pass afterward that he loved a woman in the valley of Sorek, whose name was Delilah. For him to love that woman, we already know they had to be doing some kind of dealing with each other, right? Talking to the woman was cool, or whatever the case may be. It was there was no kind of treachery going on until they did what? What is the root of all evils? Money.
Yep.
And we will give thee every one of us. So every one of them, every one of the lords of the Philistines, right, that came unto this woman, right? Every one of them that came into Delilah, they would give her 1,100 pieces of silver, right? Sold you out for the bag, homie.
That is crazy. Imagine that.
God.
And then it goes on to say, verse 6, and Delilah said to Samson, tell me, I pray thee, wherein thy great strength lieth, and wherewith thou mightest be bound to afflict thee. In verse 7, and Samson said unto her, if they bind me with 7 green withs that would never dry, then shall I be weak. Samson's playing him, and be as another man. All right, next verse. Then the lords of the Philistines brought up to her 7 green withs which had not been dried, and she bound him with them. Now these were the men lying in wait, abiding with her in the chamber. And she said unto him, the Philistine be upon thee, Samson, and he brake the withs as a thread of tow is broken when it touches the fire. I mean, that's crazy. So the strength was not known. So in other words, Samson knew what the deal was and everything. But they kept pressing and pressing. So verse 10.
Hold on, right?
What's that?
Now, I want y'all to keep in mind. Now, the very first time this woman did some damn treachery, right? I mean, like this woman had to have a spell over him, right? This is now you got to remember when Samson killed 1,000 people earlier, then he killed the 30 folks over to get the stuff. Now, Samson, he's killed a number of these heathen already, right? But he has not killed anyone significant. Remember, now the Lord sought occasion against the Philistines because they was ruling over us, right? They have kings and things of that nature that has to be brought down. So the Lord still has work for Samson to do, whether he knows it or not, right? Because it said in 14 chapter 3 that this was of the Lord, and they knew it not that Samson was going to be falling in love with these damn heathen women, right?
You said that she had a spell on this. It's called the vagina spell.
Yeah.
The spell was. All right, verse 10. And this is the same spell that our people today get hooked on.
Lust, wickedness.
And the vagina spell, that's what it is. It says, and Delilah said unto Samson, behold, thou hast mocked me and told me lies. Now tell me, I pray thee, wherewith thou mightest be bound. Verse 11, and he said unto her, if thou bind me fast with new ropes that never were occupied, then shall I be weak and be as another man. Delilah therefore took new ropes and bound him thereof, and said unto him, the Philistine be upon thee, Samson. And there were liars in wait and abiding in the chamber, and he brake them from off his arms like a thread. I mean, like it was nothing.
Hey, hold it for a second, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna bring up a scripture real quick, right? I want to bring up a good scripture, again, right? The same scripture, right? We got to, it says what? Trust ye not in a friend. Trust ye not in a friend. Why is this not going away? That's aggravating. No, cancel that. And okay, there we go. It says, trust ye not in a friend, put ye not confidence in a God. Keep the doors of thy mouth from her that lieth in thy bosom. This is why that's in there. Yeah. This is literally why that's in there. Do not give your strength unto a woman. So it says there are many that have run out of their wits for women. And unfortunately, it seems like Samson is going to be one of those brothers. But this is all the plan, hatched and schemed by the Most High to get us out of captivity. So, it behooves you to be righteous because you don't want the Most High to use you in this type of way, to have you, falling in love and getting your heart broke and the heathen whores you're laying with. Now they betraying you. They telling they snitching you out because you a coon on the low. You over there cooning, laying up with these women and having, all these heathen homeboys. Go ahead, Salaki.
Yep. All right, verse 13. And Delilah said unto Samson, hitherto thou hast mocked me and told me lies. Tell me wherewith thou mightest be bound. And he said unto her, if thou wavest the 7 locks of my head, weavest the 7 locks of my head with the web. And she fastened it with the pin and said unto him, the Philistines be upon thee, Samson. And he awoke out of his sleep, and he went away to the pin of the beam and with the web. And she said unto him, how canst thou say, I love thee, when thine heart is not with me? Thou hast mocked me these 3 times, and hast not told me wherein thy great strength lieth. Verse 16. And it came to pass, when she pressed him daily with her words, and urged him, so that his soul was vexed unto death. Where did we read this before? We read this earlier in 14. When he was just being pressed upon so heavily. Verse 17, that he told her all his heart.
Well, man, go back. I'm sorry, man. Go back to 16, because that's listen, right? And you know how bad that is right there. It said, and it came to pass when she pressed him daily with her words and urged him, so that his soul was vexed unto death.
So you have to be
aggravating heathen, boy. Good gracious.
I can't even imagine like how bad that you would have to be vexed like that in order to just give up, something so sacred.
Well, you see these brothers today, man, with these heathen wives. Like, for example, Kanye West with that one heathen. Man, she is just dragging him. Got his kids everywhere, doing all kinds of stuff because he did what? He gave her his strength, which was his seed and she has children with that damn heathen, and now he's going through it. He's going through it right now, right? You know what I'm saying? It's vexed that man unto death.
Mm-hmm.
Even though he's wicked
And the
as hell.
same thing
Scripture
same
does
thing
say
was
that a wicked man does receive a wicked
what's
woman.
dude's name? Dr. Dre. Same thing with him.
Con.
But look what happened. His wife got him for like, I think it was like what, 200 million, something like that. But I'm just telling y'all, this is what happened. This is the price that our people paid when they played a harlot. All right, verse 17. That he told her. So I'll read 16 again. It continues at 17. It says, and it came to pass when she pressed him daily with her words, and urged him so that his soul was vexed unto death, that he told her all his heart, and said unto her, there hath not come a razor upon mine head, for I have been a Nazarite unto God from my mother's womb. And just to let y'all know, a Nazarite, according to the custom, a Nazarite was to never shave their head. Right? Unto God from my mother's womb. If I be shaven, then my strength will go from me, and I shall become weak and be like any other man. All right, verse 18. When Delilah saw that he had told her all his heart, she sent and called for the lords of the Philistines, saying, Come up this once, for he hath showed me all his heart. Then the lords of the Philistines came up unto her, brought money in their hand, and she made him sleep upon her knees.
That's a nasty woman, man.
Oh,
that's a dusty, dirty ass heathen, man. Look at that, man.
She made him sleep upon her knees.
Man was comfortable, chilling.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't afraid of nothing.
Yep.
He thought that she was gonna stop bugging him, because she told him the secret. I mean, I don't understand why he thought that he would be able to trust her after every time he done told the woman, she done called her people up on him. And I mean, like, this is just, lust can blind you, right? Mm-hmm. Lust for things that are wicked can blind you to do the most idiotic and stupid things on this earth, right? In this case, got this nigga telling the damn woman that he's gonna where his power comes from. Yep. Cut my 7 holy locks. What? That's just madness.
And she made, verse 19, and she made him sleep upon her knees, and she called for a man, and she caused him to shave off the 7 locks. See, he had to wait. She waited until she was like so comfortable just sleeping. Him to shave off the 7 locks of his head, and she began to afflict him, and his strength went from him. Well, this is the real thing, so it's really happening. Verse 20, and she said, the Philistine be upon thee, Samson. And he woke out of his sleep and said, I will go out as at other times before and shake myself. And he was not, that the Lord was departed from him. See, one thing you got to understand is, the Most High is long suffering, but there's a limit to his long suffering, y'all. Verse 21. But the Philistines took him and put out his eyes, and brought him down to Gaza, and bound him with fetters.
Now, why do you think that was a punishment, right? Why do you think that gouging out his eyes was a punishment for what he had done? Right? What is one of the main factors with lust? Is what you see, right? Is what your eyes can see. For his eyes, right? He was lusted after the way that the Philistine woman looked. That was just something that he just lusted after. He couldn't help it. That's what he liked, right? And the Lord had to stop that from him, right? The Lord's like, well, you want to look on these Philistine women as wives, and you want to go into them and doing things like that. The Lord just decided to put out the main thing that he was using, right? His eyes. Just go ahead and pluck them things right on out. Put his eyes out, right? Go ahead.
It says, howbeit the hair of his head began to grow again after he was shaven. All right, verse 23. Then the Lord of the Philistines gathered them together to offer a great sacrifice unto Dagon their God.
You heard that, right? They said, then the lords of the Philistines. So this means this is the leaders right? The leaders of the Philistines, they are gathered together, right?
Hmm. And to rejoice, for they said, our God hath delivered Samson, our enemy, into their hands. So, the main reason why Samson went through what he did is because he disobeyed the Most High. Had he remained faithful to the Most High, none of this would have happened.
That's right. No. You know, that's absolutely right. And then it says, and then another thing too, right? How dare they think that their God, some false ass Dagon, some, I mean, that don't even sound, man, I'll spit on that God, man, that old fake old God, I'm talking about, that old false God, Dagon had delivered Samson into their hands. Are you kidding me right now? Just for them to say that, you already know off the top that then incurred the Most High's wrath. That already made him mad right there, right?
Yeah, they're trying to take credit for what the Most High did.
God, right? There's just like so many levels to this Samson story and what's going on behind the scenes and how the Lord is using our own people to get us out of captivity, but at the same time knew that this man was being wicked and would cause the Lord would be able to place an insurgent inside of the Philistine camp in order to deliver us.
Yeah, it's just like our people in captivity today. You know how these heathens love to brag about how they had us in slavery and stuff like they did it. Because think about it, we are a strong people. How can they? What is that verse? I think it's in Mark 3, 27. How can you bind a strong man unless you? How can you take a strong man's goods unless you first bind the strong man? We are the strong man. How do we get bound? It's because the Most High allowed. Because you can't just bind up Israel like that. You know what I'm saying? The Most High has to bring us down to allow us to be bound, but it's not by the will of these doggone heathens. And that's why when they brag and they make these slavery movies trying to brag, all it's doing is inciting the wrath of the Most High.
Oh, that's right.
All right, verse 24. And when the people saw him, they praised their God, for they said, our God hath delivered into our hands our enemy, and the destroyer of our country, which slew many of us. See, because they remembered. They remember when the Most High told them to drive them out. So there's been some bad blood. But see, it goes back to the beginning. Had our people would have completely driven these Canaanites out, it wouldn't even be a Samson story, y'all.
Not only that, man, our people wouldn't have been in the captivity for whatever years. Right?
So this is what I'm saying. But look how the tables are turned, and now they're saying that we are their enemies, but which is true because they remember years ago how the Most High destroyed a lot of them. We ran them out of Canaan. I mean, verse 25. And it came to pass when their hearts were merry, because they were rejoicing and everything, because that Samson was finally defeated, because the Most High had delivered Samson into their hands. But they said, call for Samson that he may make us sport. So, yeah, I know what that means when it says make us sport. So they were using him, they were making fun of him, and they were teasing him, just like how they would do with our people back in slavery, how they would pit our people against one another. They would do gladiator fights and stuff with them, have them fighting unto the death and things like that. So they were using our people as sports, but they were doing Samson the same way, using them as sports.
He's blind.
Yeah,
this is bad. He's blind, he can't snickering see. And laughing and all kinds of crazy stuff like that while these folks is abusing the hell out of him.
Probably throwing stuff at him. And it says, and they called for Samson out of the prison house, and he made them sport, and they set him between the pillars. Now, I don't really imagine how Samson is feeling right now, because now he's thinking about all the stuff he should have listened to his father. He's thinking about everything that he's done, and at this point, you can't do nothing but be humble. And see, and this is another thing I want to bring out too, because a lot of times the Most High has to put us in a situation. And because we're on a high horse, and sometimes our ego can be higher than the sun, but the Most High has to let us fall in order to us to be humble. And that's why so many of our brothers, they get puffed up, especially if they get a little money or something, they get a little fame, they start getting puffed up, and then next thing you know, they start mingling with the heathens and everything and trying to be like them and stuff. So, Samson, yeah, he learned this lesson. I'm sure that he was very repentant. But you're going to see what happens next. And verse 26, it says, and Samson said unto the lad that helped him by the hand, suffer me that I might feel the pillars or upon the house standeth, that I may lean upon him. Because, at this time he's blind, so he needs help, to help guide him to fill the pillars. So a little boy is going to help him and everything. Verse 27, now the house was full of men and women, and all the lords of the Philistines.
Read that one more time.
It says, and the house was full of men and women.
Right to the semicolon.
And all the lords of the Philistines were there.
And all of the lords, right? And I want y'all to understand that.
So lords just means leaders. All the like your high officials and all that kind of stuff. Your high ranking officials and all that were there.
Right. All the people that ruled on the Philistines at that time, they were there. Now I want y'all to understand, right? Now, this has all been planned out for the Most High, for him to end up at this banquet where you have all the lords there. You understand? Like the Most High used one man to bring down the nation, all because they had us in captivity. Now the Lord can use this, so let's just imagine how much greater our deliverance is going to be, right? When the day of the Mashiach comes.
Yep, and watch this. This is, and there were upon the roof about 3,000 men and women. You hear that? There were upon the roof about 3,000 men and women that beheld while Samson made sport. So in other words, they're all there. So you have all the lords, in other words, all your officials, all your high-ranking members of the Philistines, and they're just sitting there making fun of them because everybody wants to get in on it, but they don't realize that the Most High has set that up because the Most High is getting ready to destroy all of them. In verse 28, and Samson called unto the Lord and said, O Lord God, remember me, I pray thee, and strengthen me, I pray thee, only this once, O God, that I may be at once avenged of the Philistines for my 2 eyes. And Samson took hold of the 2 middle pillars upon which the house stood, and on which it was borne up, of the one with his right hand, and of the other with his left. And Samson said, let me die with the Philistines. And he bowed himself with all his might. And the house fell upon the lords. So that was everybody that was there. And upon all the people that were there. That was the women, the men and the women. So that the dead which he slew at his death were more than they which he slew in his life. And that's crazy. Then his brethren and all the house of his father came down and took him and brought him up and buried him between Zorah and Eshtaol in the burying place of Manoah, his father, and he judged Israel 20 years.
God, right. So you see that? Manoah, his father, ended up judging Israel for another 20 years after we took over from killing up all the Philistines, right? Now, if anyone has any questions dealing with this this first part, because there's going to be this could be a 3-part series right here. It's going to be this part, and then we're going to go to the next section right after this, and then there should be one more, right, that we're going to deal with. If anyone has any questions about this, I know sometimes it's kind of weird to see that the Most High had allowed Samson to deal with the heathen, and that was his will. But doing that comment, the Lord does what He wants to do when He has to do it.
But here's what you got to understand. So it's like my granddad used to always tell me, that the Most High always, if we create the negative, the Most High will turn that negative into a positive some kind of way. Yeah, it's sad that what happened with Samson and everything, but at the end, he did repent. He did repent and he humbled himself, and the Most High gave him one last strength, to take all the Philistines out. So if I have to say that if that's the way to go, then so be it, but at least Samson had repented, and everything. And we always know that things shouldn't be like this. Yeah, we can say all day long, well, it shouldn't have been like this, it shouldn't have been, but it is what it is. And even unto today, the reason why our people are in the situation that we're in is because we're pretty much doing the same thing. And you got to remember, the Most High does not judge us as an individual. He judges as a whole, as a people. So yes, if you want to call it mass punishment, that's exactly what it is, because we are the chosen people. Our heathens are not the chosen people. So why should we be concerned about them? Why should we be worried about them? The Most High can care less what they do there. They're gonna get theirs regardless. So they're going to be destroyed regardless. But we are the chosen people, so we are the ones that he is going to chastise. So that just got to remember that,
And what is
Because
that also?
I hear some people say that, well, how come he doesn't do this to the heathens? It's not fair. That look, we are the chosen people, so
the heathens are going to get theirs. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like the heathens don't get a chance at everlasting life. So
No.
don't worry about what the
Exactly.
heathens are doing. You know what I mean? That doesn't really concern you. It shouldn't really concern you at all.
Yep. Only thing we should be focused on is our people.
That's right.
Because the Most High is going to, and guess what? He's going to deliver us as a whole. He's going to judge us as a whole, and he's going to deliver us as a whole. Because we're one unit, just like the hand is part of the body, the feet, the eyes, the nose. It's all works for one purpose.
That's right.
That's just the way the Most High has always worked, y'all. When our people wandered in the wilderness, it was only an 11-day journey. And, it tells you that in Deuteronomy 2:1 that it was only 11 days. And so, but what happened? Because a few knuckleheads. So some of y'all may say, well, that's not fair because the righteous were keeping the commandments, but then yet these knuckleheads were messing up for everybody. Yeah, exactly. That's why the Most High had to make them wander for 40 years. Until
not only that, right? A lot of our people, right? We're complacent and we're real easygoing when you see wickedness in your area instead of rebuking it. And see, that's one of the main reasons why it took us 40 years to get out of the desert. Like the Most High is a mass punisher, right? He believes in mass punishment. He don't give a damn if a few of you niggas is doing right. That don't mean nothing to him. The Most High wants every Hebrew on. He wants all of us keeping the commandments, right? The majority of us, he wants the majority of us keeping the commandments. That's just what it is, right? So if he sees a few of you out there that's doing wickedness, man, he's going to destroy you, right? But the same thing when you see here, right? The Most High has this thing really set up. As you see, he used Samson, right? He used Samson to do what? Free his people, right? The Most High, he has a plan, and if you don't obey one way or another, it will happen. Like I was saying, 40 years in the desert because of what? Because there's a law that says that if you are talking about going to do some wickedness, serve other gods, hey man, you're supposed to get on that brother and jig him up to death, get him up out of here. Because it's just like we are the body of Hamashiach, right? What happens when you get sick? When a part of the body gets sick, we have T cells that go and attack that part to make sure that it heals up. That's the exact same thing. It attacks the foreign object, and the foreign object to Israel is wickedness.
Yeah, and this is why, and this is why you got to understand why the Most High had to kill. It's like Jehu. When he took over, he killed Jezebel. He killed a lot of folk because there was a lot of wickedness in Israel. Another example is at the bottom of Mount Sinai when Moses went up to receive the commandments. When he came back down, them jokers were all kinds of lasciviousness. They were just wicked. So the Most High had to tell Moses to rise up and kill your brother. Why? Because wickedness spreads like a cancer. Now we just can't go out. I mean, we could go out and do it, but we just can't go out because of these crazy laws and stuff. We can't just go out and kill our wicked people now. You know what I'm saying? Because we're not in a position to really do that. But I guaranteed you, when we go into the wilderness and when the Most High says that he will purge out the rebels, that's exactly what that's talking about. There's gonna be there's gonna be a lot of niggas dying. That's women, men and women.
That's right. And it's a damn shame that it used to have to be that way. But man, a lot of y'all niggas don't want to do right, and so the Most High is gonna kill y'all. I just pray every day that I don't get killed too, because it says that we have to worry about our own salvation, right? We have to struggle to our own salvation. So, but we're gonna have charity, Brother Daniel and I. We're gonna continue to exude charity and try to make sure that our people try to know at least as much as we do, because we want to see y'all make it too.
Yep.
Like I'm not, like me and Brother Daniel always say, like, we don't know if we're gonna make it, but we doing our damnedest to try. You know what I mean? We doing our hardest to try.
And that's the thing. It says, the Bible says, be ye faithful unto death. So we don't know. We've been hearing about all this wars and rumors of war, and yes, there's some things coming down the pipeline where they're anticipating war. Now we know that war doesn't mark the second coming. The only thing that war has proven in the past and will prove in the future is that a lot of and that's the people are going to die. A lot of people are going to back to dust. I mean, that's just the nature of the beast, y'all. So anytime war happens, people die. You know, things happen. So, you know, but don't let, because the Bible says that you will hear of wars, rumors of wars, but the end is not yet. You know, we haven't even been delivered up to our enemies to be afflicted yet. You know, and so, you know, that still hasn't happened. So, you know, again, I got to just be patient and study these laws, you know, and really
add on,
get to the word, because we're commanded to do one thing, and that's to be obedient to the Most High.
That's right. And to add on what Brother Daniel was saying, right? You know, it's as you see right here, it says, and Samson said, "Let me die with the Philistines." You got to what? You got to believe until death.
Yep.
And he bowed himself with all his might, and the house fell upon the lords and all the people that were within, so that in the dead he slew at his death more than they which slew in his life.
And some people may try to say that's suicide, but that wasn't suicide. That was a righteous death.
Right, Khan, that was a righteous death, and that just lets you know right there that with all the belief that he had, and he had faith that the Most High would give him the strength once again. You know what I'm saying? See, and that shows the power of his faith. That if his faith was not restored into the Most High to being righteous, the Lord would not have restored that for him, right? But the Lord had knew that his faith would return in the end for him to do what? Do is exactly how the Most High had planned from the very beginning. Because what? We see that in Judges 14, the Most High, he had an occasion against them, right? It says, and he came up, his father, right here, verse 4. All right, it says, but his father and his mother knew not that it was of the Lord that he sought an occasion against the Philistines.
Yeah. Hey, I want to address something right quick. So this brother says, the Ghost Tiger 144, if you love the Most High, making it till the end should be the last thing on your mind. So when you really take in consideration, we got to realize we're flesh and blood, but at the same time, you know, when we say that love the Most High with all your heart, soul, and strength, that's exactly what it means. But brother, you got to understand that people can fall off. So that's why in the book of James it says that if the Most High's will, you know, should say this or that, you know, but it should only be the Most High's will, because again, we don't know, and so many of our people have proven to go off. So the only thing that we can do at this point is, I always say this, work out our salvation with fear and trembling, and keep these laws to the best with all our mind, heart, and spirit, and then the rest will fall in place.
That's right.
You know, but we are our brother's keepers. So if we are not holding our people accountable, then we are just as guilty. So it's more than just loving the Most High. If you truly love the Most High, we're going to be our brother's keeper. So if we see wickedness going on and we choose not to say anything against it, then we're condoning it. You know, I see a lot of people doing videos out here, you know, doing stuff, but they're not condoning wickedness. You know, and not trying to bash on the women, but I see a lot of women out here trying to teach and stuff. But I don't see the daughters of Zion. The senior daughters of Zion is trying to correct them. You know, but it's like they're promoting it. You know, me and brother after we do the series here, me and brother Aton, we're gonna do a video on, are you sure you ready for the head to be healed? Because I hear a lot of women, you know, getting on YouTube talking about the head is sick, but they're not telling you how did it get that way. You know, it's more of like a bashing session. So it's like, okay, y'all want to complain about the head not being sick, I guarantee you're not going to want to be around when the head is healed, because you're not going to have your freedom of will like many of our women are so used to. So I'm just putting that out there as a warning, you know. So we got to be very careful what we ask for.
That's right.
Yep. Does anybody have any more questions? Any more questions concerning the lesson? I think I saw somebody ask what happened to Delilah. Let me go back there if I can find that. I don't think it said. Did it say anything? I don't think it mentions her anymore after that. Delilah.
Yeah, it doesn't really mention anything that happened to her after that.
Yeah, it just because the only thing that left off with her was being. I'm pretty sure she was probably destroyed at some point, but
Well, no. Remember, she got all those. Man, she got the money. You know what I'm saying? She got 11 shekels from all those lords, and after that, remember now, she was taken straight from Samson's. I mean, Samson was laying in her, laying in her lap, right?
but
And
no, but
then the
the
doggone
question,
guards
the
came
question
in.
she was asking though, was she destroyed though? What happened to her afterwards? Once she
Probably
left
lived out her life, in
yeah,
riches, in
yeah,
riches.
yep. And
You know,
but to be honest with you, we don't even know if she was one of the ones in the crowd. So I don't know. It could have been just she just could have took off with the money and just went somewhere. But
yeah. I mean, yeah, you're
but
right
don't
because
worry.
he
It's
can't
that,
see. You're right.
yeah,
He couldn't see. He didn't know whether or not
yeah.
she was in the crowd or not. You're right. You know what I'm saying? It could have
So
been
to
something
answer
like
to
that,
answer
huh?
to answer your question, what happened to Delilah? We don't really know. But I guarantee you, it will not go unpunished. So
That's right.
or deeds and stuff like that. All right. All right. Does anybody else have any questions? The sister says here, I don't listen to women preachers. All praises. All praises. I think you're probably the first person I've seen that said that. Don't say that too loud in front of the sisters. You'll get stones thrown at you.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be funny, but it's the facts.
Yeah, the majority of those women preachers, they're not even married. They're
Mhm.
just, I don't know. Like a lot of our people, that's the thing, right? We have to. A lot of our people, they claim they love the Most High, but First John 2, right? But they don't. What in the world? They don't do what they're supposed to do, right? You know what I'm saying? It says, hereby we do know that we know him if we keep his commandments, right? We have to keep his commandments. He that saith, I know him, and keepeth not his commandments is a liar, and the truth is not in him. So this is something we have to look for as a whole. Like, you always have to remember this scripture, right? 1 John 2 and 4, or 2, 3, and 4 right here. These are very pivotal scriptures for you to look for. If you have somebody that's trying to teach you the truth, but they're not keeping the commandments, if you at a wicked ass Sunday church and they don't got fringes on, they're not they got a bald head and they're serving you pork loins, after church, man, what does that say? The truth is not in him, and he's a liar. If you got sisters up on here, teaching the gospel, and you show them Acts, and it shows that, Corinthians, that, let the woman remain silent and not teach, so let her not usurp her authority of the man or teach or anything like that. They see that, man, they start going crazy. You know what I mean? They start cutting you off. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna do a series because I have a lot of videos that I recorded of these, of sisters teaching. And when I asked, but I should have recorded the conversations, because when I had asked them on the live and sent them the verse about why are you doing your own will, not the will of the Most High, I was blocked and removed.
Yeah. Hey, without getting off to the subject, so more asks, why are there so many women teachers? Well, I'll tell you why. It's because of our enemies, because the heathens are the ones who really started this stuff. If you do a research on our people, and if you go back to like the 50s, you didn't see women preachers like that. You know what I'm saying? This came about through our enemies, because you had these white people, these white women that started the feminine movement and wanted to come out and start doing everything that a man was assigned to do. So this is to answer your question. This is why there are so many women teachers, and now it's like it's filtrated
equality
so bad and everything, to the point where, and the sad part about it is that they think they're right. So when we do our lesson on you want the head to be healed, we're going to be addressing this as well too.
A lot of this deals with feminism too, right? Why there's so many women teaching? Like, it wasn't that many back in the day, but now is this feminism is starting to get out of control. This absolute madness and folly. We have more and more and more of these women teachings that they think they can come over here and start teaching like the priesthood has been moved to the women and it's been taken from the men, which that is not the case. You can't find not one woman preacher in the scriptures, not one, because that's wicked as hell.
Matter of fact, to take it even further, you never ever seen a woman bring an offering for her family, unless she was widowed, that she had to bring the offering to the priest, and the priest would occupy all that,
Uh,
So the man was the one who always offered up for his whole family, his wife, his kids, everything. But it's backwards now. So let's see. This is how Satan works too. So Satan, I'm gonna tell you something. Everything the Most High has a truth for it. Satan has a counterfeit. So the Most High said it was the man that was to rule, to be the head. Then Satan comes along, twists it up, says that it should be the woman to be the head. But see, it's roles are switching and stuff like that. And now you're seeing all this masculinity in our women and everything. But again, I don't want to get too far off from that because I want to save that for when we do the lesson.
yeah,
But with that being said, well, we're going to go ahead and end it here so you guys can enjoy the rest of your Shabbat. And I'm gonna light my menorah here and meditate some more
Con.
and sip on some blue lotus tea.
All right,
Okay.
Israel. All right. If we don't have any more questions, comments, or concerns, we will be leaving. All right.
And I'll say, you say Shabbat Shalom and stay strong.
Shabbat Shalom, Israel.
Wow.